The stars had always been silent until the day they spoke. It began with a signal, not random, not natural. A message, clear, structured, and impossible to ignore. Every satellite, every screen, every radio frequency on Earth lit up at once. Humanity froze as a single phrase echoed across the planet. Surrender or be erased. They called themselves the Dominion, an ancient alien empire that had conquered thousands of worlds. To them, Earth was just another primitive planet, rich in resources and easily dominated. They were wrong. At first, panic spread like wildfire. Governments scrambled. News channels ran nonstop coverage. Scientists tried to decode more transmissions, but the message never changed. Surrender or be erased. Within 72 hours, their fleet arrived. Massive ships, each the size of cities, appeared in Earth's orbit. They blocked out the sun in some regions, casting shadows that stretched across oceans and continents. Their presence alone was enough to make humanity feel small, insignificant. A second message came. You have one chance. Kneel. The world waited. Leaders gathered. Militaries prepared. Humanity stood at the edge of extinction. And then something unexpected happened. A broadcast. Not from a government. Not from a military. But from a single human. A young woman. A soldier. Standing in a damaged command center, her uniform torn, her face bruised, but her eyes unshaken. Her name was Captain Aisha Rahman. Her message was simple. We do not kneel. Those 4 words changed everything. Across the globe, people repeated them. Soldiers engraved them onto tanks. Pilots painted them on fighter jets. Hackers turned them into digital banners that flooded every network. We do not kneel. Humanity had made its choice. The war began instantly. The Dominion struck first. Beams of energy rained down from orbit, vaporizing cities, flattening defenses, and shattering infrastructures. Their technology was beyond anything humans had ever seen. Shields that couldn't be penetrated, weapons that erased entire battalions in seconds. But humanity fought back. Not with superior technology, but with something far more dangerous. Creativity. Engineers repurposed civilian tools into weapons. Old satellites were turned into kinetic strike platforms. Hackers infiltrated alien systems, causing glitches and confusion. Pilots used outdated aircraft and unpredictable attack patterns the Dominion couldn't anticipate. Humans didn't fight by the rules. They rewrote them. In one battle over the Pacific, a squadron of human pilots did the impossible. Facing a Dominion cruiser, they knew they couldn't win in a direct fight, so they didn't. Instead, they lured the massive ship into Earth's atmosphere. The alien vessel, designed for space combat, struggled against gravity and turbulence. As it faltered, human forces launched a coordinated strike. Missiles, drones, and even manually piloted crafts crashing into its weak points. For the first time in history, an alien ship fell. The world erupted in hope. If they could bleed, they could be beaten. The Dominion responded with fury. They deployed ground forces, towering machines, and bioengineered soldiers that moved with terrifying precision. Cities became battlegrounds. Streets turned into war zones. But humanity adapted. Urban warfare became their advantage. Every building, every alley, every underground tunnel became part of their defense. Civilians joined the fight, building barricades, sharing intel, refusing to surrender. The Dominion had conquered countless worlds. But they had never faced a species that refused to break. Weeks turned into months. Losses were heavy, entire regions were destroyed, millions were gone. But humanity endured. Captain Aisha Rahman became a symbol. Her message spread beyond Earth, intercepted by other species who had once fallen to the Dominion. For the first time, whispers of rebellion began to rise across the galaxy. Earth wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. It was fighting for everyone. The turning point came during the Battle of Orbit. Human scientists had discovered a flaw in Dominion shields, a frequency that could destabilize them for a brief moment. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Using a network of modified satellites, humanity launched a synchronized pulse that rippled through space. For just a few seconds, the Dominion fleet was vulnerable, and humanity struck with everything it had. Nuclear weapons, kinetic strikes, experimental tech, even ships piloted on suicide missions. The sky burned as explosions lit up the darkness of space. When the smoke cleared, half the Dominion fleet was gone. Silence followed. For the first time since their arrival, the Dominion hesitated. Then came their final message. You are not like the others. A pause. You are dangerous. Days later, they left. No grand announcement, no final threat, just a slow retreat into the void, their ships disappearing one by one until the sky was clear again. Earth had survived. Not because it was the strongest, not because it was the most advanced, but because it refused to kneel. Years later, humanity would take its first steps into the stars, not as victims, but as warriors. Other species would greet them with awe and hope, because they had all heard the story of a small, defiant planet that stood against an empire and said, no. And in the vast silence of space, one truth echoed louder than ever. Humanity does not kneel.